of this little podcast. If you don't already know, my name is Molly. I'm from Peonies and Cream, a creative lifestyle blog, and I do this little monthly podcast, video cast, just to kind of talk about the previous month, what I've been doing, what I've been liking, what kind of adventures we've been having. It's a little bit of craft and a little bit more personal life, so if this is your first one, welcome, and if not, welcome back. I was doing this on the last week of the month, and now, as you can tell, it's already April, and this is the March podcast, so I've moved it forward. I'm going to do it in the first week of the following month, just to kind of give myself a little more time, and that way I can include all of the month and not feel like I'm cutting anything out. I don't know if you can hear that. I think my neighbors are driving their four-wheeler around, so if you can hear that, I'm sorry. Not much I can do about it. I'm recording this on our GoPro. My husband got this GoPro for me as a Christmas present when I was very first starting the blog up, because he thought that I could use it for stuff like this. And up until now, I've just been using my iPhone because I didn't want to mess too much with the GoPro. Not that it's really hard to use, but I just wasn't super familiar with it yet, and I'm still not. But I thought that with a couple videos under my belt that I'm going to try to make the switch, so if the video seems different or the quality's a little different, that's probably why. If you have super strong feelings about it, tell me below. Otherwise, you probably don't care, but I just thought I'd let you know, because I can. March was kind of a weird month. I can't believe it's already April, but it also seems like March was super long. Maybe that's because February is a shorter month, even though it's only 3 days shorter, but it feels like a huge difference. But I was making my list of all the stuff that I might want to talk about on here, and some of it feels like forever ago. So I don't know if you feel that way. I don't know if that's really a defined way to feel, but that's how I'm feeling right now. I can't remember at the end of the last episode. I know I was talking that our fridge had gone out and we were replacing it, but we finally got it. I think we might have got it in the week that I posted that, so it might not have made the video. I'm sure it was all over my stories and everything else though. So that's in, and we're super excited. I love it. It works beautifully. The setup was just slightly different, but not really a lot from the way our old fridge was laid out. So it was pretty easy to move stuff over. I did take the opportunity to kind of reorganize how we do our fridge, how we lay everything out. Not huge changes, but I got some extra organizers, just like clear bins, and kind of went to town there, and it's working out really well for us, and I was so happy with it that within the same week I bought stuff to do our entire pantry. We have like a full-size double-door pantry cabinet, and I bought stuff to do all of that, and crazy as we are, it came in and we cleaned our pantry out that night, which was the night before Addie's birthday party in our own house. So that was a bit hectic and chaotic, and I wouldn't think that emptying a pantry and making a huge mess would be what I would want to do right before hosting a bunch of people, but that's what we did, and I'm super happy with it. I have it pretty much how I want it. I cleaned only just a little bit of stuff out, but everything is much more easily accessible, and I got rid of all of the, like, you know, like we get fruit snacks and popcorn and all the stuff that comes in a box and then is self-packaged. So we got rid of all those boxes because now I can actually see what I have. I can see that we have 4 bags of popcorn left and all of that. So that was kind of a huge endeavor, but super worth it. I'm super happy. Addie's upstairs antagonizing the dogs, if you can hear them barking. Again, I apologize. Also, not a lot I can do about it. But yeah, I'm happy to have an organized fridge and an organized pantry, and everything just seems a little less stressful when I'm trying to do all of my food prep and stuff. I've been trying to cook a little bit more, especially on my days off, and I didn't do great this week, but it's been nice cooking again. It's saved us a ton of money. I feel a lot better not eating greasy fast food and takeout and whatnot all the time, which we didn't all the time, but it was getting worse for a little while there. So trying to get that back on track. I've really been inspired and wanting to look into, I haven't done a bunch yet, but I'm wanting to look into stuff that's like a little more elevated cooking, but isn't really harder cooking. So like homemade pasta is something that I'm super intrigued with. Pasta doughs are so simple. Some of them are just flour and egg and super simple. It just takes a little bit more time to do it. Or sauces that are made from all fresh ingredients that you literally just chop or prep and throw in a food processor and then it's done. I mean, that's not hard. That's super simple, but not really where I'm at right now. So I'm looking to elevate my cooking that way. I know this isn't technically a cooking thing, but I think food is super creative and there's tons of different things you can do with it. So I might talk about it a little bit here and there. Sorry if you're not interested. One of the things that has been holding me back from stuff like that is I don't ever feel like I have a lot of fresh stuff on hand. I always want to cook with fresh stuff. I want to use fresh stuff, but I don't. Before, I wouldn't ever do enough grocery shopping often enough to have fresh stuff on hand. I would buy stuff and then I wouldn't use it within the first few days, and then it'd go bad, and then I'd throw it out, and then I'd feel bad and frustrated, and then the cycle would continue. But in the last few months, we've started using grocery pickup at Walmart. We have one Walmart in town that does pickup, one that doesn't, and it's been life-changing. Like, that sounds like a big statement, but it's honest. I don't stress about grocery shopping. It doesn't really matter to me anymore when I get my groceries. I usually can pick them up the next day from an order. It's only a $30 minimum, which isn't really a lot of food, so I can do them more often without sacrificing more time, or, you know, they don't have to be these huge shopping trips, because I used to try to get literally as much as I could at once so that I could make it be that much longer before I had to go again. So I'm looking to use that to my advantage in being able to cook with some more fresh stuff where I can do smaller pickups more frequently and better use the stuff that I get. So I'm trying to incorporate that. I am not a good impulse cooker. I have to have a plan. Otherwise I get really overwhelmed. So my first step is gonna be researching stuff that's a little more elevated, yet still pretty simple to do, and then working that into like a food plan. I don't have to meal plan to where it's like this meal on this night, but I just like to have an idea of like, here's 4 meals that I can do in the next 6 days, and then go from there. So enough about that. But still on the subject of food, my mom works for our local newspaper and has for a very long time, and she'll be mad that I don't know the exact amount of years, but it's been a long time. And one of the columns that she does is a weekly food column, and she has for quite a while, and she does recipes, recipe collections, and then she does a little personal article alongside of it. It's been a big hit. People love it. People know her for it. And this month, she just released her first Cookin with Sal episode on YouTube, so I'll link that below. Be sure to check it out. So I'm super proud of her for that. And they're gonna do a monthly, so I'm looking forward. So definitely like that video, go check it out, comment, and then subscribe to the page that it's on so that you can watch all of her videos coming up. So I mentioned that Addie had a birthday party. She's our youngest. She turned 2 at the beginning of the month. So we did just a short, simple birthday party with family here at the house. And it was great. We did it on a weeknight because we have a bunch of different schedules in our family, and that was the best day that we could find. And I think it went well. It's always nice to just get family together, have an excuse for that. All the kids got to play together. That was a lot of fun. What wasn't fun was our toilet was having issues in the girls' bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms. One is our main guest bathroom, the girls' bathroom, and then we have our master bathroom. And the toilet in the girls' bathroom decided to clog a few days before the party. Couldn't plunge it, couldn't snake it, we didn't call a plumber, but we were close. And so we didn't have a working toilet in that room for the party. So we had to do the master bath, which was fine. Just family, who cares? We cleaned up the bedroom and the bathroom. And then Kyle finally got to the point where he said, well, I can take the toilet apart. I'm pretty sure the blockage is in the toilet. I can go take it off the floor and go back that way. So that's what we did. And we found a few wooden blocks and a small screwdriver, and I don't remember what else. We thought it was toilet paper because Evelyn is potty trained, but she's still kind of iffy on the toilet paper, so we had been finding a whole bunch of toilet paper in the toilet at once. No, that's not what it was. Not toilet paper, so. But we got it fixed. Works fine now, so one more thing that kind of went to crap that we had to handle, but that was at the beginning of the month, and so we've been doing okay since then. So I think that the toilet was really the last struggle, really big struggle that we had this month, and it really wasn't too bad. I mean, we just were wrapped without that toilet for a few days, but March had some pretty high points. I bought a used MacBook Air off of Facebook, which was a little bit stressful because it wasn't a local one. It was one that I had her shipped to me. So I paid in full to start, and then had to just be on good faith that she was going to send me a MacBook and that it would work and be what she said it would. But it all worked out. She was 100% truthful and honest, and I'm super grateful for that it wasn't some big disaster that had to be fixed. And I love it. It's just a 2015 MacBook Air, and it's been working great for me. It's been super handy having, actually. Kyle was kind of skeptical, I think, that it would make a big difference, but I can work anywhere on it now, and that's really something that I've been looking for. I love having this craft room office area. I love our huge Mac that we have back here. It works awesome. I don't have any issues with it, except that it's not portable, that I have to be down in this room, kind of closed off from the rest of the house. I have to find the time that it's okay that I'm down here, and that's just been a bit of a struggle. So having this, I can work at the kitchen island, at the dining room table, up in bed. You know, I can pull it out if I have a few minutes at work of downtime, need to look at something. I mean, I have my phone, and phones are super capable these days, but it's just not the same, and it's not always as easy flipping back and forth on the phone and typing stuff out, and sometimes apps crash, or they don't, they don't work as well as they would if you were using a web platform, doing it strictly online. Excuse me. So it has made a huge difference. I've only had it a few weeks now, and it took a little bit, it took like 2 or 3 days to get it, wiped and set up and everything moved over and transferred, but I love it. It's one of the best purchases I've made in the recent future, so I am super, super excited about that. Not just for blog stuff, but just everything. I've got a bill tracker, I've got, notebooks for all different kinds of things on here. I use the OneNote application. It works a little bit better on PC and Android stuff than on the Mac, but it's still super useful, and it's free. So look into that if you're looking for one place to store all your stuff. I've also been trying to, since I have it more available, I've also been trying to look into better like goal setting, to-do list organization, planning, stuff like that, online or not even online, but just digitally rather than in a written planner. So if you have any tips or ideas or anything that you like to use for that, comment below, let me know. What else? Evelyn had spring break last week, which was super nice because I was working, so I didn't have to get everybody up, including myself, and run her to school and do all of that on top of working nights. Super nice. She missed it. Every day she was like, school today, school? No, sorry, we're not going to school today. So she's happy to be back this week, and I am too. She missed school and like the activities and the people and the friends, but I think she also missed the structure. I think she does really well with that. So it was a little bit hectic. We had some attitudes flaring, but we got through it. It worked out. Not even during spring break, but the week or so before, we took a Friday and took the girls out just to do some exploring of places in Casper that are kind of more kid-friendly. We took them we have a science zone area here, and that was really fun. They have a lot of different stuff for the kids to explore, all ages. They have a little tot area, but the girls loved all of it. It was our first time there, so I'm not sure how often they change out like their exhibits, but it was really neat. And if you have an area like that, if you're not in Casper, but you have something like that close to you and little ones, I would try going. We got a pass for Christmas. That's what we asked for the girls, was experiences rather than stuff, because we have more than enough stuff. So that's one of the ones we got, and that was our first time using it, but I think we'll definitely be back, and I think it was well worth it. We also took them to our other gift that we got, which was to our local art museum, the Nicolason. We went in, we wanted to see what all the pass included. We have like a little kids art area that they kind of explored. I mean, it's painting and drawing and stuff that they can do here, but it's a different environment. And then of course we also walked through the gallery, which was interesting. And they also do like little kid art programs. They do one, I think that's the first Saturday of the month, that we're gonna try, especially in the summertime. And then they do offer summertime stuff, so we're gonna try that. I also got to take Addie to our library, our public library, while Evelyn was in school one morning, and they do a little tot time reading like circle thing. So we did that, and that was fun. We checked out some kids' library books because we have a ton of books, but the girls also get bored with them, and I do too. So as much as I love owning books, I'm trying to also do some library books so that we have more interchangeable, less permanent options. So we checked some of those out, and that was fun. And I'm hoping, I want to take both the girls to one. They do one on a different day that Evelyn is available for when she's not in school. So hoping to take them both to one together. But it is not nice to get out and do stuff with Addie while Evelyn's in school so that she's not just cooped up at home with me, because how boring. But we also went and looked at 2 other houses. Like I said on the one before, we don't need to move, we're not dying to move, but we're open to it. So there was one in a neighborhood we really liked, and we looked at all the stuff online, and we just wanted to love this house so much, and we went, and it was a nice house, but it's not what we wanted it to be. So had to pass on that one. And then the same day while we were out, we went and looked at one downtown, not downstairs. That was not what we needed at all. So it is what it is. I'm still always looking and sending Kyle houses that he ignores. So that's okay. That's okay, not a big deal. We also went to our local Elks Lodge where my dad is a member, and did what they annually do as a casino night, where you pay your ticket price, and that gives you fun money for all of the gambling tables and drinks, and then you use your fun money to pay for drinks also. So we have done that for the last few years, and it's super fun. It's just a nice night out. Got a little too ahead of myself, which I don't usually do, but it was still a super fun night. We usually just play Texas Hold'em, because that's the most gambling that I know. I mean, I know blackjack, but I think Texas Hold'em's more fun. So that was fun. That was just this last weekend. And then we turned around that morning on Sunday and drove to a nearby town about 2.5 hours away for a baby shower. So I'm really glad that we were able to make that. The mom-to-be had made it to mine from this town 2.5 hours away. She drove in for mine. So I was really happy to be able to return that favor, support them. I'm super excited for them. It's their first, so super exciting. And it was just good to see some of the old friends that we don't get to see as much anymore. So fun little day trip out. We took the girls. They did fairly well. We had some attitude issues at the end of the shower and then in the car on the way back, but we all survived. We got out of town, so that was good. And I think that's really about it. We did do we went to a holistic fair, and that was fun. I got a tarot reading, and Kyle did a palm reading, so that was not something we do every day, and it was just a fun experience. I only got 3 posts this month. I didn't get a 4th because we had a funeral for Kyle's family. I did the magnet board for Addie's room, which is a huge hit. She loves it. She got a couple sets of magnets for her birthday, which was the goal, and she loves it. She's up there all the time playing with her magnets and moving them around. I also did these little door latch covers. Super, super easy, like 10 to 15 minutes. This one's covered in hair and grease from our door. Made one for each of the girls' doors. As I said in the post, I wanted them to keep the door from latching. They didn't do that, but they did quiet the close, so it's not such a loud latch. And then it turns out that like a week later, Evelyn decided that she did know how to open doors. So that's okay. But I still like them. They make them a lot quieter at night. Their doors are right next to each other. So if I go into one room and then I'm closing the door, I don't want that shut to open or to wake up the other one. So it's definitely a big help for that. And then, like I said, if you are having little kids, if you know somebody, super easy DIY baby shower gift. I also did these rice packs. I did this one as a post, just a generic, long, basic one. You can put it across your abdomen, over your shoulder. Evelyn puts them on her legs. Originally I thought she was getting growing pains in her shins, but now she just likes them to kind of warm her up at night when she's going to bed, which is fine. They can also be put in the fridge or freezer to be kind of an ice pack that doesn't melt or leak or any of that on you, so that's super awesome. Really, really simple to make. So if you're interested in these at all, I highly recommend you go check out the post. I'll link it below. And up in this little card thing that you can do up here. Did you know that that's what that is, that little eye? Yeah, you can click on that and then it'll show you other stuff. I know. So I did that one, and then I did a follow-up post, technically for April, but for this big shoulder one, make sure that's showing up, and I can smell the lavender in here that I put. Super awesome. Pretty easy. I mean, obviously it's not just a rectangle, but pretty nice. Heat it up, soothe those shoulders. If you work at a desk, if you're sewing all day, no matter what you're doing, I just carry stress and tension in my shoulders anyways. So this is really nice and soothing for that. Also can be put in the fridge. I will also link this, so be sure to check it out. These are awesome stash busting projects also. They don't take up a ton of fabric, but you know, I have a box of fabric from my Quilty Box subscription and my Cotton Cuts subscription, and I haven't done really anything with them yet because I was gonna do the intended projects, which some of I still want to do, but I looked through that and that's where this fabric came from. So, I mean, I didn't go out and buy fabric for these. You could really use just about any kind of cotton, or flannel would be really nice and cozy for the winter time. So I highly, highly recommend you check those out, because I've had at least a rice pack for the last 12 years and I use them constantly. Wintertime, summertime, for cold, you know, when I'm sick, they're comforting even if I don't have aches and pains. They're great for menstrual cramps. They're great as an ice pack. I have a smaller one that's about this big that is just full of flaxseed, and it's not all the way full, and I just lie it over my eyes and forehead when I have a headache. I don't heat it. I usually do it at room temperature. I should think ahead and keep it in the fridge or the freezer, because the cooling and the pressure, like just the light weight of it, really, really does a lot for headaches, especially if I'm lying down and I'm trying to, you know, go to sleep or calm down. It relieves a lot of pressure naturally without Advil or with, you know, without having to do all this other stuff. So I really, really recommend them. And I'm sad that it took me this long to do a post about them for how simple they are. And I know there's other posts out there, but definitely something to consider doing or making. I didn't get a lot of extra crafting done this month. Just the two main knitting projects that I've been working on. I did make progress, but my shawl here, this is my Andrea Mowry Baubles shawl. So this is where I started the month. this little stitch marker, and I've knit, I'm about halfway through the second lace repeat. You do the lace twice through, I believe. So I'm getting close. Again, I wanted to be done with this section this month. I got a lot of knitting done in the car on the way back from our baby shower, but I haven't had a lot of at-home knitting time. I've been playing a lot of catch-up from January and February as far as, you know, laundry and just getting that kind of our house back in order where I want it, which has been a big relief to get a lot of that done, but I haven't allowed myself as much crafting time. So, but again, this is a pretty wide shawl, so still a decent amount of knitting. The other knitting project I've been working on, I don't think that I had started in February, so I probably haven't shown you. If I remember right, I had just put it all together, like got all of my yarn and needles and whatnot together, and I've started it twice. So that is this little Raindrops sweater for Addie. It is a tincanknits pattern in this pretty sweet Georgia yarn, and this is where I'm at. So I've already done, this is the yoke, and I did this little collar, I guess you could call it. And I had previously marked my pattern before starting because it lets you do all of the sizes at once, and it just tells you, you know, for this, on this next row, for this size, do this, blah, blah, blah. Well, I missed the spot in the pattern where you switch needle sizes, and it switches from a 1 to a 3, so that's kind of a big switch, and I missed it, and I was, you know, probably this far into my yoke when I realized it, so I ripped it all back. And then I started again, and I switched needles for the second time around, because I don't know if you remember, I had purchased 2 sets of steel needles, some Chiagus and some Haya Sharps, and so I really wanted to try both of them, and honestly I loved them both. I really thought that it would be hard to impress me because I usually use these wooden ones, and I still like these. I do like them, but for lace and smaller yarns, I really enjoyed the steel. They moved really nicely. They didn't split my yarn at all. They were speedy to knit on because I wasn't, you know, these kind of catch up on your yarn a little bit, and sometimes you gotta really feed them back onto the needle off of the cable. And I didn't feel that way with these. Everything slid perfectly, but not to the point that I felt like I was dropping stitches or going too fast. It picked up all of my knit 2-togethers, slip knits. I didn't feel like I was struggling to get into the stitches for those because sometimes they're a little bit tighter. So I really did like them. So anyways, so I did the collar twice, once with each needle, and then I almost ripped this one out because I got to about here and I was looking at it and I'm laying out my, you know, I'm kind of trying to stretch it out and see how it's gonna look, because lace, you know, has so many details for the pattern that I'm always curious if it's looking how it's supposed to, or if I missed something or messed something up or got off a stitch. And it didn't look like I thought the picture looked. It shows an up close. Let me see if I can find it. Here, it shows an up close of the neck of the yoke. And I was looking at it and I was like, you know, it just doesn't seem like it's this uniform up here, the one that I have, that I'm working on, and it seemed like my pattern was off. So I kind of sat on it a little bit and I thought about it, And then I decided, you know, I think this picture is of the adult one that they did, the example of the adult one, and then this is the little kids one. Because you can see here that she's wearing the blue one and the little girl's wearing the purple one. So I think that maybe the patterning is just a little bit different for the different sizing. Maybe it's not, you know, an exact match as far as where all of your little yarn over eyelets fall, but it's still, you know, the basic pattern concept, if that makes any sense. Basically, I decided to live with it. I decided that this doesn't look like, you know, looking at it, I wouldn't say, I don't think that that's right. That's probably not the way the pattern intends it. And I do think that this is correct after thinking about it. Even though it doesn't look like the example they show close up, I think this is how the smaller ones are supposed to be knit. Because when I was doing Evelyn's Peachick Eyes cardigan, the little kind of feather design that they have on it didn't fall exactly the same on all of the sizes. And I remember thinking that because they wanted you to cut one of them out on each side when you were doing the bottom row. And I looked at it and I was like, well, that's not how the picture is. And so I read it multiple times to make sure I was reading it right, and then I decided that I liked it better with it in, so I went ahead and added it in. I just did one more repeat of it where it would be, rather than having this big, solid, blank space. So having that experience, I put it into this and I decided that I'm happy with it. I think it's correct. I don't think that there's any issues. I think I was just second guessing myself, and then I continued on, and now I'm pretty happy. I'm more than halfway through the yoke, and it's super easy knitting, you know, yarn overs and knit togethers, and you know, nothing too complicated construction wise and knitting pattern wise. So I'm really enjoying it. It's coming together so fast. This is only, you know, a couple nights, just a handful of hours to get this far, and I'm already almost done with the yoke, and then I just divide for the sleeves and the body and finish, you know, keep going, just potato chip knitting, sitting in front of the TV knitting away, gaining those inches. So really happy about this. I'm glad I finally got it started. Had I not ripped it out, I would probably be done with the yoke by now and already be divided. So hopefully in this next month I make huge headway. I'm not gonna set myself up and say I want it to be done. As awesome as that would be, I don't know that that will happen, but really good progress. I think I've got an excellent start, so I'm excited to get moving on this and get it done so she can wear it. Our weather's been kind of warming up. We've had a little bit of snow, and then we'll have like 60-degree days, so I'm excited. I think that'll be a good spring weather shirt for her. Probably a little too hot for those really, really summery days. And probably not enough on its own in the winter, but you know, a nice springish kind of overcast day like we're having today. We've got a little bit of rain and clouds today, so I think that'll be awesome for it. I think that's all I have. I feel like this has been a really long one, and I'm sorry, and I am really sorry that I don't think I've slowed down or taken very many breaths, but like I said before, I just get so excited to talk to you guys, and I feel like this was a huge month. I feel like we did a bunch. I feel like it was a long month. We had a lot of things happen, and I was just excited to share it all with you. So I will link everything that I talked about down below. Let me know in the comments what you thought, how your March was, what projects you got started, what you finished, what you worked on, all of that good stuff. And if you have any awesome digital organization apps or tips or programs or anything specific that you use and love, like I said, I've been using OneNote lately, and I can organize multiple notebooks with sections and pages of whatever I decide I need to put in there, and that's awesome. Not as great on Apple, and I've voiced that to them a lot. I don't know if it will go to heart at all, and I don't know if that's them or if that's an Apple thing, but we'll see about that. But yeah, let me know what you use and love. If you have any awesome recipes that are, not just cream of chicken casseroles, but that are a little more fresh and elevated and homemade, but still simple, easy enough that people are like, that's all you had to do to make this? You threw this in a food processor? You mixed 2 ingredients to make this pasta? I want those recipes. So if you have them, comment them down below. And that's it. Like this comment, share it with the world, with your friends, with your mother, anybody, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. All right, thanks guys.